Welcome back to the channel, guys. Beanie from Bliss Sneaks. It feels like a real long time since I've actually done a video on the Landcruiser, for good reason. We've just finished the GVM, 4.2 GVM, and it's cost an absolute fortune, so it took a little while to actually do, but it's all done. So it's all been fitted, it's been engineered, it's certified, it's been over the pits, Department of Transport know about it, and it's all fully legal. Done. What a mission it was, I can tell you, and a very expensive mission. But I'll go through everything. I'll go through the pricing at the end as well. But for now, I will cut to Packard Automotive while it was in there, and they just finished doing all the work to it. Mitch from Packard was nice enough to run through it all. I've never really interviewed anyone before, so it was all new for me as well. So if it looks a little bit awkward, that's my fault. But anyway, I'll cut to there and then I'll be back with you. G'day guys, we are at Packard Automotive. As you can see, the 105 is up on the hoist. We're going to go through the whole GVM, 4.2 GVM. We've had all the physical side of things done. The engineers ticked it all off. So we've got Mitch from Packard's. He's going to go through the whole process, front to back, and hopefully answer some questions. I know I got bombarded by a lot of questions as soon as I said I was doing this particular GVM on the cruiser. So hopefully I can answer a few questions, and yeah, we'll run right through it. Well, I'm here with Mitch from Packard's. Cheers for jumping on the channel and explaining all about it.
No worries.
I know you're a busy man, so much appreciated. I was thinking that we might just run from the front right through to the back, just what's been done for the 4.2,
yep.
And answer a few questions.
No worries.
All right, let's go. All right, so we've obviously got the D-Wiz diff housing. Now, the internals obviously all the same from the original diff.
Yep, all your hub assemblies, all housing, diff centres, whatever lockers you've got, no effect.
Yep.
It's upgrade 1850 kilo axle load rating.
Yep.
And yeah, fitment wise, all serviceability is all OEM.
Yep. Steering knuckle, that had to be changed, eh? All the steering arm?
The chassis braced.
Chassis braced.
Yeah, the Panhard mount brace and the chassis brace around the power steering area is a bit of an issue with most of the 80 series. 105s are coming up with problems.
Yep.
Same chassis.
I actually have a mate with an 80 series that had a crack right there.
Yeah, about a few come on tow trucks that have been completely gone. So
yep.
That's a preventative thing that some of the cars have issues, and that's one of them on the A105. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Obviously the brakes.
No worries. So the 200 series brakes, is that actually part of the GVM? Does that have to be done for the 4.2? Yep.
The factory brakes, even at the 3.5 tonne, which we do an upgrade for, are barely sufficient.
Yep.
So they were definitely required. The brake booster upgrade for the non-ABS models is optional.
Yep.
But yeah, that's required for the 200 series units.
No worries. What else is up in front here? We've got the sway bar.
Yep, the 33mm white line sway bar replaced the OEM unit, just to help with stability without increasing the spring rate too high to be unbearable.
Yep.
And got the windy roads and stuff.
No worries. I've just taken it up to just below Coral Bay for Christmas time, and also down south on the weekend, and it just sits beautiful on the road, absolutely perfect. I thought it sat pretty good before it, but now it just sits beautiful on the road, and also unloaded as well. I was a bit worried how it's going to drive with it not loaded up, but she sits beautiful on the road as well. All right, what else is up?
Front's pretty light. You have to run to obviously 17-inch rims that clear the brakes.
Yep. Make sure you know what rims you got too, and let these guys know, because they are very, very tight fit, so sometimes the 17s might not fit, so just let these guys know what rims you got first as well.
Yeah, and
obviously the springs, upgrade the springs.
Yeah, upgrade springs and shocks and Yeah, there's a lot of options. There's no one set kit you have to go for, one set of units.
Yep.
But it seems to work, so.
Excellent. And you can upgrade all the pan rods and all that as well if you want.
Yeah, you can do, yeah. The front itself is not as important with load.
Yep.
Because that doesn't change all that much. The actual load is usually around a couple of kilo extra.
Yep.
Nothing crazy. The rear's where obviously most of the load's applied.
Yep.
So.
Excellent. Yeah, I will get them changed over at some stage, but money's a factor at the minute. All right.
Good so far.
We'll run through down at the back. So this is obviously where it takes the brunt of the weight.
Yep. So obviously the chassis braced over the arches, the Rat Customs kit.
Yep. Once it's down, I'll be able to show you that.
Yep. And obviously a 3-ton damage diff housing. Same deal with the front. OEM fitment for the wheel bearings and hubs and diff center.
Yep.
Yeah. Just basically replacement housing as far as fitment goes.
Yep.
Thicker sway bar as well, 30mm. Same deal with the front, help with stability.
Yep.
And
is there a specific weight for the spring? I've got 500s in mine.
There's a range. Some people are going to be over 4 ton all the time.
Yep.
And then we would go for a much heavier spring, a 50 constant load. Not many brands do them.
Yep.
We can do a full air ride system as well.
Yep.
Or we go 500 kilos is probably the lowest you'd want to go.
Yep.
It'll handle it, and also depends on the ride height people are after. We can do up to 3 inches. Most will hover around that 2-inch mark. So.
Yep. No worries. And also tyre size, we can get them ticked off by the engineer as well.
Yep. So we go a little bit. What size are these? A little bit.
These are 295, so they're just the one size bigger than legal.
Slightly bigger than this, but it's pretty well lit.
Yep.
Some offset limitations. Can't quite go 35. It's nice, but
yep.
It all works well together.
Beautiful. Can all this stuff be purchased just by the local man and he can put it all in himself?
Yep. No requirement for anyone qualified to install it.
Yep.
DIY yourself. Quite often your car's already kitted out with gear, so we just fill in the gaps and
yep.
Basically guide you through getting it done, so you don't have to go buy a full setup. Quite often you've got at least 90% of it. Rear springs are the one that always gets replaced.
Yep.
They're never high enough, that sort of rating. We go up by nearly a ton, increase in GVM.
Yep.
But there is obviously options and a lot of flexibility. But main thing is to DIY.
It's all going to get ticked up by an engineer anyway, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also we check it all over and make sure it's all done sweet. And little things like mud flaps and stuff getting sorted, which
yep.
Down the line. But the main thing is obviously flexibility to run different brands of shocks and set up to everyone else. So we go if it's dual cab chop, stretch, we have options up to potentially 4.5 ton GVM for a stretch.
Yep.
Too much for just wheelbase. 4.2 is definitely pushing it, but it's safe and it passes all relevant testing. So
beautiful. Sweet as. I'll be able to get to the chassis kit once it's down. Alright, so the chassis kit's just on the inside there. Hopefully you can see it. Was it a bit of a pain to put in the chassis kits or?
No, surprisingly, once the wheels off it's all easy access and just goes from past the rear cross member
yep.
or the front cross member. But a bit more involved, pulling the steering box off and brace all that because also there's inside parts of the panhard mount that snaps off.
Yep.
The rear's fairly straightforward. So.
No worries. And it's easy access in between, like if you've got an aftermarket sub tank like I've got, still easy to get to.
Yep, all it is thick of the chassis by about 4 mils, so if you have anything you've got will still mount to it.
Excellent.
Fairly non-invasive. The weld as well can be done by anyone competent. So no need to be a qualified welder. Get signed off, we sign them off. So.
Excellent. This isn't just limited to the 105 series. This is obviously 80 series. He's talking about 100 series now. Was it 3.9, 4 ton?
Definitely 3.9, working on up to 4.1.
Yep.
Replaced rear housings, 2.5 tonne rated, front's about 1630. But brakes at the moment are the limit. We haven't worked out a physical upgrade for those.
Yep.
But they do have better brakes than the 105 series with a better hydraulic system. So, yeah, may not require a brake upgrade. We'd like to have one anyway. It's an option.
Yep.
But may not require it. But 3.9 is safe. But yeah.
Excellent. There you go, guys. I know there's a lot of guys on there that were asking about the 100 series, so that'll answer a few questions on that one. I think we're just about done there. Oh, the blinkers.
Yes. Yeah, the chassis indicators. So category 6 required vehicles above 3.5 tonne GVM. Just one definitely roll over.
Yep.
One of those things that you can't quite understand why they need it.
It's
Got to do it.
the silliest thing I've ever heard, but
They've plug and play for the Toyota Landcruisers. You don't wire them in. You just takes 2 seconds. Double-sided tape to mount them on there. And yeah.
Beautiful. I was going to get them changed out anyway, so save me a job.
That's it.
Well, there you have it, guys. Yeah, hopefully that's answered a few questions. I'll finish this video back at home. There's other questions I've got been asked that I will answer as well. We'll go through a few things with the pricings and just overall, if there's anything between now and going through the Department of Transport that I've got to do. They are the hardest people to deal with, Department of Transport, so I will also go through all that as well. So until then, guys, we'll holler back to then. Cheers. And cheers to Mitch for jumping on.
No worries.
Cheers, mate. Alright, we are back. Good bloke, Mitch. Cheers for doing that too. I know you're going to watch this at some stage. Alright, so we'll go through the list of what's been done. This is the certificate. I always thought they just give you a mod plate and you stick on your somewhere on your car, but apparently you got a A4 piece of paper. It basically just lists all the description of everything that you've done. And we'll go through that right now. So the aftermarket upgrade front and rear axle DWIS. Axle ratings front is 1850 and the rear is 3 tons. So that's where you get your 4.2 GVM for. When I weighed it, went without, I just had 2 full tanks of fuel and I didn't take any camping gear or anything like that in the actual car. And it was 3.38 ton just alone. So that's without any water as well. So she's reasonably heavy, but I've definitely seen heavier without, or with the same amount of gear in it. So I've tried to cut down as much weight as possible in a lot of areas inside as well. So I've got a nice little payload. Aftermarket upgrade suspension components, which include front and rear coil springs, shock absorbers, and sway bars. So I basically already had the springs in there. I just upgraded the rear springs from 300 kilos to 500 kilos just to allow for the big tank at the back, and it rides absolutely perfect. They've done an amazing job on that part. Side indicators, so they're called Cat 6 side indicators. To me it makes absolutely no sense, but because it's classed as a light truck now, yeah, I had to get those indicators. It was, anyway, I was going to change them out at some stage, just something cool, but I don't have to do that anymore. The rims are 17 by 8, negative 12, what do you call it? Offset? Oh God, mind blank. Negative 12 offset. I can go up to 295 75 17s, but I've only got 295 70 17s, so I can go one size thicker on the wall, bigger. The wheel track front is 1640 and the rear is 1625. Roof height measurement is 1960. Eyebrow measurements front 570 and the rear is 600. The Toyota Landcruiser 200 series front brake assembly and braided brake hoses, and the 4.2 GVM upgrade. Now, one thing is quite important to take note is that this does not change your GCM. It's still whatever it is, 6 ton or just over 6 ton, I think it is, for the GCM. You cannot tow anything bigger than you normally would. All right, so we'll go into pricing. If you can do the labor yourself, I don't have the room or the tools or the hoist or anything like that, so I just didn't do that part. I just got the guys at Packard to do it. They did an amazing job. It rides so bloody good. I didn't think it was going to ride that much better when it was fully loaded, but it does. It's noticeably 100 times better. It feels solid on the road, if that's a thing. Anyway, so the labor part to it was 7,370. So that was a lot, but there was a lot of work involved, so just keep that in mind. If you can do the work yourself, you're going to save that money. Alright, so we'll just go into the bulk. We won't worry about all the little gear oils and stuff like that, but the bulk stuff. Steering box bracing kit, $145. So the chassis kit is right through it as well. Anyone that knows 80 series and 105 series, they are prone to cracking where the steering bolts or mounts to the chassis. I know one of my mates actually had that on his 80 series happen, so that's all strengthened all through there. Just those little indicators were a couple $100. Anyways, the rear diff housing, 4,850. I think the front one was the same. I know 3,590 for the front one. Just under $2,000 for the brakes on it, the 200 series brakes. Packard have done. I did a review on the brakes when they first got them done, and Packard loved the review, so they've offered me to offer you guys, if you want a brake upgrade, a 200 series brake upgrade on your 105 series. I think there's a handful of 70 series they do as well, and I think they're looking at 100 series. I think they said they were going to look at doing, from memory, a different type of brake kit, a 10% discount. So yeah, hopefully you can use that. That's a couple of $200 or $300 off. So if that helps you, discount code BLISSNEAKS. What else? So a lot of that's got the labor cost on there as well. The swivel hub rebuild kit. So when they did the front diff housing, I opted for the heavy duty swivel hub rebuild kit. You don't have to. There's $300 cheap. I think it's $300 cheaper to get you the normal one, which is still pretty good. Alright, so I've just written down here, I didn't actually tally it up until yesterday, and I was actually quite surprised. But anyway, here it is. So everything that's there on the list was 20,000, just over 20 grand. And then optional panhard rods, front and back, as an upgrade. They do recommend them. You don't have to do it for the GVM, but they do recommend it because you got all that extra weight. So they were 2,807 from memory. I've got it here somewhere. No, I don't. But anyway, it worked out to be $22,000, just under $23,000. And then if you took your labour costs off if you did it yourself, so you take off $7,000 off that. That's actually not too bad. A couple of other little costs was the actual the pit over the pits, which was $187, which is peanuts compared to what I've just been paying for everything. And of course, the WA government want their little piece of the pie and just charge you $75.80 just to go into Department of Transport and get a vehicle mod permit, even though it was already licensed and permitted and everything anyway. Just extra money by the government. So good. Now, while they were in there, they told me what I needed to change for the going over the pits. Mud flaps, I didn't realise that they can be no longer than 300 high off the ground. Mine were way over that because they were still standard. So I had to go get new mud flaps. I ended up going with a Superior mud flaps and brackets, and they fitted up awesome. So if you're after new mud flaps, definitely check them out. They weren't cheap. They were about $500, I think. About $500 anyway, I think. I put the new wiper blades on. I knew it needed it anyway, and I had to change the front lights out back to standard. I knew that was going to be the case, and may or may not have already changed them back. Now, while I was in there, I also changed it to a 2-seater, so it's now legally 2-seater. Can't carry any more people, which you can't anyway because it's got no room in there. When I got the long range sub tank in, I didn't even know you needed an engineer certificate for that. Apparently you do, and got that sorted as well. And that is it. So as it sits legal. So I'm very happy. You're probably asking, is it worth doing? Yeah, well, I'm going to keep this cruiser. So we're getting a few spots of rain again. I'm going to keep this cruiser. If I wasn't going to keep the cruiser, I probably would question it. I don't know if I'd do it because it's a bloody lot of money. But in the end, if you do have an accident and it comes down to you being overloaded, you are in deep shit. So keep that in mind, and the insurance company won't pay you out as well. So keep that in mind. And I just had an agreed value with Shannon's once I got all the work done, and it's agreed value for 40k now. So pretty happy with that. I think that's about it. So any questions, hit me up in the comments. Any technical questions, hit Packard Automotive up. They are the guys. Their work was amazing throughout. Very helpful guys. So check them out. Yeah, very happy. It rides awesome. I did have this really nice scene of being up right next to the ocean. You would have seen on the drone footage, but the waves were too bloody loud, so I couldn't actually talk on the camera without it being too loud. Anyways, guys, cheers for watching. Sorry it's taken so long for the cruiser vid. I've got more in the works. If you've got a keen eye, you'll see a bracket there on the back bar. The old man welded it up for me. I've actually got something getting built, my own little invention getting built for that. So it's taking forever. The guy's snowed under. It's been 4 months. I thought it'd be all done by now. If I knew it was going to take so long, I would have gone somewhere else. But anyway, it's going to get done soon, and you guys will be the first to see. And I've never seen it done before. So I've searched high and low on the internet, never seen it done before. So if it works, might even put it into production. Never know. Alright guys, cheers for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you again soon.